Hey everyone, we are back and it is our 20th episode of 70s Daydreams.
Woohoo!
We're really excited and today we are doing a pretty big one, the Aristocats. And this is 1970 and it's a Disney film. I'm sure most of you all have seen it as kids.
At least heard of it, if not seen it. So
I really loved it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I thought everything about it was delightful. I thought it was very cute. And yeah, I thought it was just really pleasant all around. There's music, there's adventure, there's stakes, there's a villain. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Had you seen this one as a kid?
yeah, maybe once or twice. Full disclosure, my sister and I hated on this movie constantly as kids. So when I was coming into this, I was prepared to see it with new eyes and as an adult, and not, I don't even remember why I didn't like it as a kid. And I just remember my sister and I would just be side-eyeing it constantly. But we didn't see it very often. I think we only saw it once.
As I was watching it, pieces came back to me that I remembered. But when it first started, I forgot that it was set in Paris. Yeah, I guess that makes sense now because it is about these sort of bourgeois cats. But I didn't realize that at first and how Frenchy it was.
Yeah, and I feel like that's interesting because it comes off to me almost as very British, and there's a lot of British accents and little British, the two Goose twins, they're British, but yeah, it's definitely set in Paris, 1910, so turn of the century.
Disney didn't really make that many films in the 70s. This is the first one. And we'll probably cover another one, or we already covered Robin Hood, which was a few years after this. So just first going off of the animation style, I thought it was really pleasant to look at. I don't know if it was watercolors for the backgrounds or what, but I just thought it had it was just very calming to watch. It was it felt really good to watch. It feels like something you can put on in the background, or it could be something that you can put on and watch actively. I thought the animation was really fluid and really cute, and all the characters were really cute. My favorite character is probably the mouse. I remembered the mouse from when I was a kid, and he was just so charming. And I love when he takes his cookie and dips it in the milk. And he was just so sweet. And yeah, and then also that one, the little sister cat, she was very cute.
And Marie, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So when I was researching this one, I found out that it took 4 years to make. And it was going to be first a 2-part series, and they spent 2 years doing rewrites on that. And then they decided to make it a movie after that. But that there were 200 different hues and colors, and that each minute of animation required some 14,040 different drawings for a single character. And theoretically, it would take a single artist 14 years to complete what they did, but it was something like 35 animators and 250 people total that worked on this. So it's a huge collaborative piece, and that definitely really shows in the craftsmanship and the work in the animation. The cat movements are spot on. They studied cats, you can tell. And the line movements, the color. I read some stuff too about how they really wanted to make Paris and France accurate, and that they wanted that color scheme to be fluid, but then also trying to match that color scheme with the cat colors, which was a whole thing. So it ended up being tons and tons of colors. And yeah, it's definitely really beautiful. It's very meditative and slow. It's definitely one of those animations that you realize how fast and in your face things are nowadays, because it really takes its time. And there's that goofy and kooky kind of slapstick humor about it, but even that's kind of slow.
Yeah, it's not wham bam. Mm-hmm. And also with the colors, there were some really beautiful, almost psychedelic sequences for some of the song and dance numbers, where it wasn't fully abstract. It was almost there was a light being shined on the characters.
Totally.
They were in a discotheque or something. That's the vibe I got. And that was really beautiful. It's just interesting because Disney is able to, because they have bigger budgets, they're able to do a lot of these things that are you can't do when you have a smaller budget or if you're just a single animator. And it is really inspiring and to see like the scope of what they're able to do.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of favorite characters, I really liked the mouse too. I think it was like Pooh Bear's voice was the same voice as the mouse. Pooh Bear, like Winnie the Pooh. I think they were the same voice. I didn't look it up, but like I was pretty sure. So I was like, I don't think I need to look it up. And maybe I'm being a little overly confident, but
I really like the voice of Thomas.
yeah, and he was Blue, the same guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was very, he just put you at ease, and he was kind of like rakish and everything, but still had a good heart.
Yeah. All right, Duchess. Like, charming you.
I was charmed. I'm not gonna lie. He looked kind of like a tiger at first. When he first came on screen, I was like, is this a cat or is this like someone who like thinks they're a cat but is like hiding?
Very interesting about that, which I learned from researching too, was that originally they were going to animate him with stripes, but because they had just come off of The Jungle Book and Shere Khan and they realized how difficult it is to animate stripes, they took the stripes away. So he was more tiger-like originally. And then I saw some like stills and stuff too when I was looking into the research of like how it was made. And he did have the stripes in those stills. Yeah. And so like the pencil drawings before they go in and animate the full thing.
I think he had a nice story arc or like of growth. At first he's just trying to like woo this damsel and then he realizes like, oh, she has like her kids, and then he's like, oh, okay. But then he falls in love. And that was some character growth that was important.
Yeah, and there wasn't like a big moment like in Robin Hood where they had like that whole montage of them falling in love either. It was very like quiet and very subtle, like where they were like, he was like, okay, I think I'm ready to like be a dad now, like and like be a husband cat and take all this on. My favorite characters were those hound dogs, Napoleon and Lafayette. Like I loved them, and it's so funny because I had this memory of them in my head, totally unconnected to this movie. And I would even think about them from time to time, like these dogs that could hear something from far away and like know exactly what it is. Like at one point the leader dog is like 2-cylinder, chain drive, 1 squeaky wheel in the front, or like Oxford soles, hole in the left shoe. And I was just like, oh my God, I love these dogs. And they're like precision, and like they weren't like gonna rob the guy or anything like that. Like they just totally were like, all right, we've got to like chase now. Like that's our total job, and I'm the leader. And then that cute little sequence at the end where he's like, I'm the leader, so now I say it's the end.
A little mischievous. I'm not really sure what they were. I don't know. They were just, I like them because like they were going after Edgar, who sucks, because
I don't agree with that, but yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Obviously like the way the movie is framed, it's like you see Edgar as the bad guy, but like realistically speaking, like if we're talking about like economics.
Realistically speaking, this bitch was going to leave her entire estate to some cats and make this guy take care of him for 12 years plus. And maybe he doesn't even have that long to live. Like, what's a guy to do? He lives in like a shitty little room in her house. Like, yeah, I'm team Edgar in some senses. Like,
I know. Like when I really sat back and thought about it, I was like, like at the end of the day, I do value human lives more than
as one does. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, obviously all lives matter. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he needed to get shipped to Timbuktu. Like, and the thing is that he wasn't like killing the cats or anything.
Right.
He just wanted to like get rid of them so that he could get the inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he wasn't like as bad as like Cruella de Vil or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Something really rubbed me the wrong way about this, like this old lady and how she, at one point, like the mom cat, Duchess, is so worried because she's all alone, and she's going to be worried about them being gone. And she literally says, "Poor Madame in that big mansion all on." And I was like, boo fucking who? Like, sorry, I have like no sympathy or pity at this point for that woman.
I know. I always forget all that stuff when I'm watching these things because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's so cute and everything. But then when you actually think about it, you're like, damn, like these cats don't need millions of dollars.
Yeah, like literal mansion. And yeah, and the just the idea of like there's so much poverty in this movie, and like even like the jazz group or of cats, like they're all like living in the shack and stuff. And I mean, they're like happier than this old woman living alone in her mansion, I guess. But like,
And she allows Thomas to like live in the mansion and everything.
and
so
they give him a bow tie.
Yeah, so he gets to make it out of the shack, but what about his friend?
Oh, they at the end she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a foundation, and all the alley cats are gonna." And so like she's like redeemed somewhat at the end, but
Okay, so she's,
I just think about like this man has worked for you presumably most of his life, if like living in your house in like a shacky room in your house, and you're going to be like, "Oh, by the way, you are so indebted to me as like someone who works for me. Even after I'm dead for 12 years, you're going to have to, plus you're going to have to take care of these cats." Like that's so offensive to me like in every sense of the word, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe they could have like reworked that, but also an interesting fact about this is I believe this is the last work that Maurice Chevalier worked on. Maurice Chevalier was a French singer and actor, and he had retired, but they really wanted to get him on this project, and they sent him a demo, and he agreed to sing I believe the opening song.
Oh yeah.
Because they really wanted something to have that kind of Parisian hokey kind of frou-frou sound, and I believe this is his last credited work before he died.
It's the final Disney animated film made with the involvement of the co-founder Roy Disney, the brother. So before his death, which was like I think the next year, this was his last one. And then also Louis Armstrong was originally cast for Scat Cat, and he had to back out due to illness. So they had another guy come on, Scatman Crothers, and they instructed him to imitate Louis Armstrong. So I thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit too.
Scatman Crothers was in The Shining. He was the groundskeeper,
Okay.
I believe.
I only saw The Shining once, and it scared the absolute bejesus out of me, and I like never saw it again. So I think I like dissociated and blocked out a lot of that movie, but...
Yes, there was a bit of a racist moment with when they depicted.
Yeah, I would say fully racist moment. Like there's nothing about that that's not racist to me, but yeah. And interestingly about that, in 2021, this movie was one of several that Disney limited to viewers 7 years of age plus because of that character being a racist stereotype. So at least they're aware and, I don't know, doing some little thing about it, but I was trying to think about how you could like remove that from the movie or like what, but it's really like etched into the song portion of it. So I don't really know how that would work, but
I usually take the approach of not editing previously made media and simply acknowledging it as opposed to erasing it.
Right, but like how does that happen with children? Like, so say if it is limited to people who are kids who are 7 plus, like is it like you have something in the beginning that's like this depicts this, because it's like it kind of puts the onus on the parents or you doing your individual research. I don't like that it kind of just exists there and there's no like commentary built into it or
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good to have like maybe some like a title in the beginning that says, this film contains
harmful stereotypes.
Yes, or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it is a debate, but I feel like once something is like finished and put out into the world, the only person it really should be up to change is, I think, like the actual artist or creator of the piece. Personally, I know there was also some debate. I believe they were changing some aspects of Roald Dahl's books recently to change some of like the harmful language. And I don't know. I guess that I think that one issue is like, how do you decide which things to change or which not? I don't want to say a slippery slope, but like how much can you change?
Yeah, and I guess I think a lot about like children and like how the lines are really different for me for children's media versus like adult media. And like if you would, for me personally and my beliefs with it, like things that you change or you take out, because like kids aren't going to have that context unless there's something in there. And just the idea of being like, oh, here's this, you can trust, you know, this organization is something that is, you know, wholesome for children. And then you kind of put it on and they're like, you know, then they're doing things in the schoolyard and making fun of you know, their peers, or like, yeah, it's really easy to do that in a way.
It is also interesting though, like not just from like stereotypes, but also like what is considered acceptable for children changes based on like cultures and countries. Because I've watched some content for children from outside of the US, from like France and other European countries. And it's interesting, like some of the things that they will have in there that I don't think they would put in an American work. So yeah, it is sort of interesting to see like what should or shouldn't be. I don't know if it was a controversy, but there's some Tom Hanks movie with a mermaid. I think it's called Splash or something. And apparently they edited one of the scenes to where like she's walking away and I think you can see her like butt. Since everyone is streaming now, they are able to edit, you know, what is on their streaming platform. So I think they edited it so her hair went further down and covered her butt. And like a lot of people were sort of making fun of it because like when you watch it, it looks
Doctored.
very, very doctored.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film. I don't know if it's geared towards kids or not, but you know, it sort of makes you ask the question, like, is a butt actually offensive? You know, these are just different cultural things. Like Americans tend to view nudity as, you know, very adult and inappropriate,
Right.
but there's plenty of films with a lot of violence.
Yeah, specifically gun violence too.
So I'm only just bringing that up because it's like, you know, I think trying to curtail like racism or stereotypes is important, but then also will they use that as an excuse to start making other edits?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely like something to think about. I guess for me it's just like not loving that there is no like commentary or like context around it, and it just kind of exists still in like children's media. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, then what do you take out? Then do you take out like progressive ideals, like because things are getting more conservative? Like
there was actually an example of this. There was some Robin Hood movie that they erased a quote or something that was in the film that was talking about tyranny and such.
In times of tyranny, like you have to like rise up and stuff, like, or like, yeah, I think it was in the very beginning too, and they took it totally out.
Yeah, off of the streaming platform. And it's obviously because of the actions of Luigi Mangione. And I don't know, I just feel like, and this is just like, I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but this is just sort of like a bigger issue as to like, art is a conversation with the past, the present, and the future. And things change, and I think we should acknowledge that. I don't want to use the word censorship, but I just think it's just sort of like a question is, to bring it back, most of the film does not, you know, that was just like one.
It was, yeah, one part of like the song. I think Everybody Wants to Be a Cat at the end is where it lands.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it necessarily taints the entire film. I really liked the story just in general.
There was just so many characters in this piece. Like it was very full, and I definitely liked that about it. I think that my criticisms and my like where it's not for me from childhood and still today is just like the kind of like damsel in distress thing is just really not my bag. Like I'm not into it. And so but there is still a lot about this that is, I would say, like the aesthetics are great. The characters are great. Loved those dogs, which is really weird to say in a cat movie, and it's like being, I guess, more of a cat person too. I love all animals, but like,
I like the geese a lot. They were very
oh,
funny.
I did not like those geese. That's funny.
I thought the kittens were really cute, especially when they were playing the piano or
Oh yeah, painting, and yeah, they were adorable. And then the horse too was cute with like interacting with the cats, and
I like the old guy who
oh yeah,
he was like refused to use the elevator and he was like hobbling up the stairs, almost falling.
like the lawyer who was drawing up the
Or
will,
the
and
accountant. Yeah, he was really funny.
yeah, and then he was dancing with Madame, and they were having a little romantic moment.
Another interesting thing is just like how thin the outlines are or were back then versus now, because like a lot of modern American cartoons have a pretty thick chunky outline. In the 90s it was a lot. It was like, Dexter's Lab and stuff. I think it's maybe a little bit more varied now, but they still do have pretty chunky lines. But this was very
Wispy. No.
wispy. Yeah, it was wispy. I mean, not quite lean clair, but yeah, it was very wispy and just lovely. Paris 1910, the Aristocats.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, thank you so much for listening to us. 20 episodes in, been over a year, I believe, and can't wait for you all to join us for season 3.
Bye.